Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being with us today. My name is Piruza Harutjunjan, and as Lisa said, I joined SK recently as Head of Business Services. I happily accepted this opportunity to speak here in order to speed up my onboarding to SK business and to digital identity world in general. Before we will move on with the topic of my presentation, I will tell a few words about myself and my background. I was born in Armenia, where my identity was mostly recognized through my voice print. So I was undoubtedly the loudest kid in my neighborhood. When I moved to Tartu, I was 7. Here, I didn't speak any other language but Armenian, so I was mostly silent for the first couple of weeks. And here, my hair, my skin color, and my strange name were something that defined my identity. Almost 30 years in Estonia had some effect on my skin color, but the name and the hair are still there, as you see. Fast forward to my adulthood, for the last 10 years, I have promoted the most meaningful Estonian IT solutions to global markets. And now I'm happy to be at the SK ID Solutions. I'm sure, and that's what the statistics also confirms, that most of you are daily users of at least one e-identity solution that we provide. But I still will share some data about our services, about our recent achievements, and some hints about our future plans. I remember the number that 5 people are eager to start using Smart ID. I think 3 of them are definitely from Barbados, and then a lady from Norway approached me in native Armenian asking for a meeting. I think she's the 4th one, and I don't know who is the 5th one, but yes. So you confirmed yourself as well that you do use our services. So, as you see, SK is an innovator in international electronic identity solutions. You can see from the timeline that we develop and apply services before all kinds of rules and regulations are enforced. Some of them even before Estonia joined the European Union. But what else do you see from the timeline? Unfortunately, I can't see you, but do you see something interesting from the timeline? Actually, we have something to celebrate here. The whole event today is dedicated to Smart ID's 5th anniversary, but actually all 3 electronic identity solutions we have are having anniversary year this year. Electronic signature turned 20 years old this year, and mobile ID 15 years old. And basically, I think this is the right time to say that we have the Apple Watch support for Smart ID available in our demo app. So you can download our demo app and start testing it and give your feedback. And I'm very happy that this was the most wanted feature that you requested, because having it available in demo shows that we keep developing solutions that we believe our users and our partners are looking for. So we are not stopping where we are in our 20 years history. So celebrations like today happen every day. Not every day, happen once a year, but every day, meanwhile, you are more than welcome for a coffee in all 3 offices that we have, in Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius. The number of offices remain the same, but we have 10 more people joining our team this year, or they have already joined, actually. I have checked that this is the normal speed of expanding our team at SK. It's like +10 every year. But today, we have more ambitious plans, and I think that the speed will be sped up in the future. But luckily, we are always improving, enlarging, and renovating our office spaces, so we will fit in where we are, even if we will reach the 3-digit number. But generally speaking, I really love the business model we apply at SK. Having external engineering partners, we have many of them, partners for HR services, marketing, enables us to be very efficient and focus on developing our solutions and serving millions of people. And I know that a lot of partners are present here, so thank you for coming here, thank you for being with us, and being sometimes very patient also with us. So, one metric, the last one on this slide, but I feel that the most important one is how well we served you, so the service availability. From my point of view, our services are available almost always, in 100% of times. But I bet some of you happen to use those in the 0.1% of times when we had outages. And we apologize for that. Sorry for that. And normally these outages happen when we want to improve and enhance our services even more. We are definitely not happy with the numbers we have here. We would like to see a lot more nines, so we closely monitor these numbers after comma and hope to serve you even better in the future. As I said, the digital signature turned 20 years old last month. Actually, that was the 7th of October 2002 when the agreement between Tartu and Tallinn mayors was signed, and that was the first digital signature given here in Estonia. Digital identity is nationally guaranteed and secured in Estonia, and people trust it highly. The e-voting is a great example of this trust. When the e-residency was introduced in 2014, actually even foreign citizens got an opportunity to join Estonian digital society and start using public and private services Estonia has developed initially for their citizens. For our foreign guests who might not know what is e-residency, it's actually, as I said, it gives you access once you become an Estonian resident. It's not giving you some permission to have a visa or travel to Estonia physically. You should still go through all these processes, but you can enjoy online services that we have. And we used to say that there are only two things you can't do online. It's like marriage and divorce. In case of marriage, normally people are moving to Estonia for some reason, and the rest is doable online. What is significant from the perspective of the service that we provide in the current year? Actually, I wanted to mention the Ukrainian refugee situation, because besides the financial, moral, and military support that Estonia provides, Estonia also issues digital identity to all the refugees that are forced to relocate to a new country. I know that the situation is different in many other EU countries, where people are, in some cases, issued just a piece of paper that confirms something, but with that paper they are not allowed to do almost anything. And I have heard that refugees in Estonia feel really taken care of by having this opportunity to do their daily things in a more user-friendly manner, especially taking into account that the level of digitalization of Ukraine is quite high, so we have kind of early adopters who are ready to adopt what we have developed. We have been partner for Estonian government for all these 20 years, and although Estonia is a small country, it's the most online country in the world, and basically, the fact that we covered the certification part for all these 20 years also proves that this is not an easy service to enter business-wise, but we will have a new tender coming, so probably next year we'll have some news and maybe even some new competitors in that field to share with you. But now let's move on with the service that initially was seen as service that is combined with digital signature, timestamping. But currently, the service is nicely growing and quite independently. And if we will leave out the countries from where our e-residents are coming, 179 was the number that indicated the countries from Estonia, from where the e-residents are coming. So timestamping is the most global service SK is offering. And actually, we are working hard to make the use of the service even more convenient and take it to even more countries. And already now we have great customers both from public and private sectors, we have great satisfaction score and the highest service availability, which shows that we do take care about the service. We want to develop it further, and as an 8th anniversary gift, we even created a separate web page that is now helping our sales team to expand the service globally. Mobile ID. Mobile ID was introduced in 2007 when we moved towards mobile-friendly or mobile-first or mobile-only world. I remember that I was actively doing business back then, and the situations where I was supposed to stop my card, use the physical token to sign something weren't rare, and I was really happy when the mobile ID was introduced. This year, we have the service branded and web-paged, so it took us 15 years. But actually for Estonia, maybe it's not an important news because we all are used to this ID branding and we are familiar with that for many, many years. But actually for Lithuania, there was a big confusion because the service didn't have any brand, it was just M-signature, and the research revealed that people are confused by what is the service about, who is offering that. And currently we are running a campaign with the slogan "More than a signature" to actually do some awareness in Lithuanian market that they can do a lot more other than signing documents. And we see already the first results of the campaign. We have nice user growth there. Actually, we reached the 400,000 user milestone in April. And with this new service, new branding, we expect to maybe, why not, reach a nice number of 500,000 users next year. And it's not only about branding. Basically, we renewed the whole issuance process. So currently, mobile ID is issued together with operators, telecom operators, and the whole process is done online. And you can become a mobile ID user online as early as 7-year-old, so which is a very important feature. Andres recommended to not add many features, but when it comes to minors, we need to understand that we have electronic government or e-country, e-Estonia for 20 years. This is exactly the length of generation, so we have the entire generation who are born and raised in digital society and using electronic means of identity from day one, skipping this login and password life is quite important. And we're happy that the mobile ID now supports this process. All these updates and improvements are dedicated to the fact, and the fact was already announced last year, that we won a tender. And today we can announce that the renewal process is successfully done. It was challenging, as any other big renewal process normally is. But as we see that all the challenges are already overcome, and we are again back on track with growing number of users and good feedback from the customers. Let's move to the 5-year-old baby, Smart ID. As it is common with younger generations, they bring the most challenges, but also broader opportunities. I'm happy that most of tricky topics were already discussed during the panel discussion. And we know the people whom we can address all these quantum computing questions and security-related issues. And considering the role I'm taking care of, all these recommendations about where Smart ID will be in 5 years are kind of shaping my backlog of activities. And I feel responsible for what was said. The service is used by every second person in the Baltic states and many, many millions of times per month. So today we received the statistics about October, and the precise number is 82 million. Moreover, it's the most and recognized brand. It's on the 5th and 6th place, according to Kantar Emor research, where they had 160 brands included. And I think this is a good example of product-led marketing. So basically, as a business person, I was rather surprised seeing that we just recently branded some of our products. Some of them are not even yet branded. So the typing icon for timestamping was not because it's the logo of timestamping, but because we don't have logo for timestamping. But we rather focus on the quality of service, the usability part of the service, and we try to solve the most challenging issues and problems our partners and customers are having. So the branding part normally takes a backseat, and this recognition, combined with the number of users that we have, really shows that this is a good service to use for the people, and that's why it's very, very important for us to have this recognition. But let's go back to the challenges and opportunities. Basically, using we have launched the automated biometric onboarding in 2020. It was also announced in our annual broadcast. And now, based on this service, we made it possible to onboard remotely minors, not from 7 years old age, but from 13 years old, but still this is a good thing. We are still thinking how to decrease the age limit and start doing that from 7-year-old age. But this is one example of win-win situation where banks, and we know that for them it's very important to decrease the number of services they provide offline, are happy that they have another opportunity to do things online. For parents who are really busy and can focus on something different, and for us, making everything to keep our customers and end users happy. We have also soft launched the IP sharing service. IP sharing is available only for accredited financial institutions and only if there is a proven need to have it. The service with the customers we have right now using it has proven itself, and most probably we will start promoting it more actively, because the first feedback was that the IP sharing service helps to identify fraud much faster and also discover some suspicious data-related cases. So we see this as a good service to offer, and probably will start enlarging the number of customers we onboard with the service. Level of assurance, Latvia. So actually, in Latvia, we have a situation now where we have a big competitor, which is the Latvian country, providing similar services. For that reason, and also to be able to grow our business in different sectors, including governmental sector, we need to have a higher level of assurance for Smart ID authentication service. And you remember the last year's slide? As you understand, with all this competition and new business opportunities, this is a really, really important topic for us. But also something where we kind of confirm all the stereotypes about Estonians, because this year we are still not there. We have done some acceptance rounds, we have done some improvements. We hope to finish the development part within this year, but the promise stays the same as the previous year. We will have it next year. Next year, you also had a slide about the level of assurance Lithuania. I haven't included it here, but it says that it's impossible. And there we have even more stable situation. It is still impossible. So it doesn't even deserve a slide, because here we at least have a hope that we will have it soon, and we are looking forward to have it soon. But with Lithuania, there is still no hope. Smart ID sometimes is called differently. In India, where SK is a technology provider, and I'm happy that Andres mentioned that case, because I wasn't sure how actively we can promote the case. It's called Geo Secure ID. In Iceland, it's Otgenni. In Iceland, actually, we are integrating Smart ID to the certification authority of Iceland, so we have a different model. And in Barbados, it will be Trident ID. And here we have, again, another schema where we are offering service, like the full service is offered from Estonia and in cooperation with local partner. You have heard about Iceland and India before. Both countries, basically India was the first one we introduced in 2019, followed by Iceland, but nothing was told about Barbados. With this project, we can say that we will have a project in the Americas, so we are really going global. Barbados is a small island in Caribbean with just 300,000 or 290,000 people living there, with nice climate, but still Barbados has the highest ranking in Human Development Index and also the lowest corruption rate in Caribbean. It takes 10.5 hours to fly to Tallinn from Barbados, probably around 16 with all the layovers, which wasn't a showstopper for our partners from Barbados who are today with us, here with us. So Chris, Rovel, and Deepak, I'm happy that you are here. You are more than welcome always. The Barbados government has been ahead of identity curve with their current ID being in place for more than 40 years. The physical ID, the new one, the more secure one, was introduced recently. And actually, SK, together with the local partner, Trusted Caribbean, is delivering a white-labeled Smart ID solution to help Barbados government to do the country's digitalization and to unlock different electronic services to their people. In a recent statement, Davidson Ishmael, the Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, said that they are just getting started, just like toddlers. And he expressed his happiness and satisfaction with the cooperation with Estonia, because with working with SK and applying the Estonian experience, not only a good one, but also the learning points, they expect to have the same outcome or the same state in less years. It probably will take 3 to 4 years for them to implement whatever they dream about. And for us, it took 20 years. So, but all in all, I want to share another experience about one event that we participated at a few weeks ago. The event was in Copenhagen, the Nordic FinTech Week. And we had a closed event with different startup investors, IT companies representatives. And of course, as it was like Nordic FinTech Week, there were some people from Iceland who happily shared about their experience. Actually, when they got to know that we are the ones who developed the solution that they use daily, Otgeni, they started introducing us to their different partners in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. And I was thinking that it's totally worth it to invest, to expand, not only in Europe, but also outside Europe. Although we have much less number of customers, we see that the promise that I shared in this Smart ID video is achievable. And maybe there will be a time, maybe in 5 years, that at least in Europe, everyone will be using Smart ID. But what it takes to have a successful partnership, especially when it comes to countries far away from Europe. First and foremost, it's a local partner for us. So a dedicated partner who is really committed to partnerships, to the partnership. Because, of course, as a business person, it's easy to say that technology is never a problem because other smart people are normally solving all these issues. But technology is really not a deal breaker. I haven't seen any case where the technology was a real problem. But the culture, the willingness to really achieve the common goal and the dedication by the primary key stakeholders is a key. And that's why this part is crucially important when we make a decision if we want to accept an opportunity or if we want to go for that deal or not. And the fact that our partners from Barbados are here today is another confirmation of that statement. Actually, this slide is here again to kind of show how we are planning to go global. Once again, I mentioned this solution when I introduced the changes that we did with the miners. The same is relevant with all other new initiatives that we are looking at currently. As Jan said, every single lead approaching us is asking for remote onboarding, for biometrics, and I understand Andres' concerns. Actually, even my phone doesn't recognize my face every morning, like never. But in case of Smart ID, we are not speaking about relying on biometrics only. Actually, biometrics goes in combination with AI, with existing processes in Smart ID, and also with very difficult verification processes with different parties where we check and double check and check again the information to make sure that the person that claims that he is really he. And with this solution, technically, we can support 90 plus countries around the world. But of course, we are not relying only on that list. We are traveling to different countries, attending different events, doing our homework, our research, our competitors' analysis, and based on that, we will decide where we will go next in order to accelerate the growth. And we do have ambition to grow outside the Baltics. And there was a question about the white label. Here I would say that I love our end users, and when it comes to EU, we would love to see them using our solution. We would like to be the service provider because we do care about our end users. We are happy when they are happy, and white labels are being used mostly for the countries outside Europe. But of course, there is no single rule that we follow. We are still a small company, and we are still very flexible, and we have our set of interests that we follow when choosing where to go and how to go. And of course, if for covering the Baltic needs, we have the entire business relations team. For international sales, we have Georg. And today, he said that we don't even have Georg, we have only half of him because another half is already focused on Barbados, so we definitely need to grow a team. That's why at the very beginning I mentioned that I expect that the team will grow more than 10 people a year, because for ambitious goals you need an ambitious team to actually execute what is planned. It was already mentioned that not only SK is making ambitious plans, there are ambitious plans in EU as well. And I'm happy that Andres, who is one of the smartest guys in the industry I know, said that he doesn't know what it is, so it's okay that I also don't understand what they want to build eventually. But actually, I see that this EU wallet thing is about trying to create the single market for EU, the initiative that was actually introduced in 2014 and that was failed. So now they're trying to rebuild it again. And in an ideal world, every citizen will have an opportunity to prove its identity, both in digital and physical world. And it's supposed to make our lives easier. And the target is that 80% of people will be using it by 2030, and that most of public services will be online by that time. We see that it can also only be successful if we will focus on 4 aspects. It should be the user acceptance should be there, because we know that it will be mandatory for the states, for the public and some private institutions, but voluntarily for the people. And currently, if EU is not happy with the cross-country usage of services, maybe it's not about the services, maybe it's about willingness of people to use the services. The second is commercial sustainability. So again, a lot of requirements that companies will follow, but there is no research or clear understanding how to monetize these solutions, which is fine at the very beginning, but at some point we need to start thinking about it. And also high security and privacy issues and interoperability. I think I'm running out of time. When it comes to practical use cases, in order to understand the business case behind the wallet, I looked at the practical use cases actually published by European Commission. And when you look at those, what is the service that we, people living in Estonia, can't do online today? What do you think? Can't do online? Okay, 2 things. Yes, you should go to the hotel, but even if you don't, they charge you and they count as if you are checked in. And then, yeah. Okay, the second thing. Actually, renting a car is not possible. Even with Bolt, you still should use your driving license, take a picture of it and so on. And I was rejected once. So basically, if we think about our services, Smart ID and Mobile ID, we already successfully applied the use cases that are meant to be used with EU Wallet sometime in the future. No one knows when. Already now, you can, when you do your grocery shopping and you scan some alcohol bottle, you are asked to prove your age, and you can use both mobile ID and smart ID for doing that. In Latvia, we have a huge segment of customers using smart ID in this gambling industry to make sure that people under 18 can't access the services. So there was a question, where will be smart ID in 5 years and how it relates to the wallet, who will win? But actually, maybe smart ID is a wallet. We already have services that are proving the cases. We have 3 million people of user base. So definitely when we think about the SK focus and role, we are not interested to build another app. We are happy that we can share our comments because it's not too late to affect all these rules and regulations and legal frameworks that currently are under discussion. We see that the attribute sharing and attribute collection is something that might be interesting for us because, as I said, this is the use cases that we have already partially, and we see a great potential there. Also, it's worth mentioning that we have an EU project, and we are trying and we are analyzing the user expectations. We are validating different use cases, and which is actually a basis in order to understand the possible monetization paths, the actual interest of people in different European countries to apply and use the solutions meant by the wallet. So we see that a huge attention is currently directed to solve the technological and interoperability-related challenges, but no attention to actual user acceptance and the commercialization part. So at least from our side, we are trying to close the gap, and we hope that this project and other R&D initiatives that we will have under SK will help us in the near future to better understand how we see ourselves in the future. All these features, biometrics supported by AI, eSIM, EU wallet, different new countries, new directions, and new horizons. We actually don't know where we will be as a company, as a country, as a union in the future. But one thing is sure, whatever path SK chooses, it will always be about identity anyone can trust. Thank you. And now we can have your questions. And luckily, Lisa and maybe Kalev will join me in answering those questions.
Thank you, Piruza. Yes, we have some questions. We quickly take some questions now. And as we have a huge amount of them, we are trying to cover them maybe in the next lot, maybe. Why do people prefer smart ID rather than mobile ID?
I can share my personal experience. I switched to smart ID. Actually, I have both because I'm mitigating risks. Sometimes I spend even more time outside Estonia than in Estonia. That's why I need to have both. But I switched to smart ID. When I went to the US to visit my sister, I spent there 3 weeks, and then I had 180 euros for SMS for using mobile ID. And again, I said that I had nothing to do with identity back then. I never read the instructions of services like mobile ID and smart ID, so I had no clue that one is using the in-app notification and another one is SMS-based. So that was my personal reason. Also, I think if you are traveling a lot between the Baltic states, then it's convenient because that's the only service that works in all 3 countries, and then it's just like a seamless experience for the users.
Okay, the money-wise then.
Sorry?
The money and the onboarding process, I think, also. Although in Estonia, mobile is very online already.
Yeah, but it's for free in Estonia, and I still keep mobile ID because sometimes you don't have internet. Then you can't do anything without mobile ID. So,
what is IP sharing?
Yes, I mean, I removed. Yesterday, I had an alignment session with some people. Initially, I wanted to, like my friends used to say that the only thing you want is everything, so I wanted to cover really everything. But then people said to remove this part, and we cannot tell anything about that part, and this is, some sensitive topic. But actually, IP sharing, again, as I said, it should be proved need, and we can do it only with accredited financial organizations. It's about us sharing the IP information of the end user in order to mitigate some fraud cases, because banks actually know from where the request is coming, and comparing it to the IP from where the confirmation is coming, they can detect fraud faster. We all know all these fraud cases that are still actively happening here in Estonia, where we have rather high like financial and IT literacy, but still. So to fight these kind of cases, and that's the service.
Yeah, and there is a question for you. How many development partners does SK have, and what are the companies?
Define development partner.
We have two in the States, Nortal and Cybernetica.
Also, we have Stagnation for the app development, and many, many more. So I was really, for me, I'm an entrepreneur, with, 20 years of experience. And it's exactly how I plan my life. Whatever I can delegate, I delegate. And I'm happy that we as a company do that.
Yeah, it is still this way that in SK there is zero developer working in SK. Yeah. Zero. No.
But no one shares this information before you join SK. So I was totally convinced that I'm joining an IT company. And okay. Yeah, there are developers.
There is also a question. The last two smart ID countries have been very small countries. I think this is Barbados and Iceland. Why it is so?
As I said, the most critical thing is the local partner and its commitment. Also, we have a very ambitious goal with Barbados. Again, I didn't want to share a lot of things, but Caribbean, we like the climate, and why not to do digitalization right in one country and take it to nearby islands? I haven't been there, but yeah, maybe soon.
And what smart ID is missing now to win new markets in other countries? What is the thing what is missing?
Another half of George, maybe?
Yeah, lacking of good salesperson.
Yeah, but I can kind of justify my answer. Really, when I learned about the product, I'm a big fan of innovation and all kind of fancy stuff, and I'm really happy that now we have, at least in demo environment, this Apple Watch support. But again, when I learned the services, I realized that if we will focus only on Baltic states, we can innovate forever and then end up in a situation that Anders described, that we kind of solve existing problems. But when we think about the export markets and the situation there, there is a lot to do with our existing services. The service is already good enough, and the only thing that we are missing, I believe, is promotion, and not a salesy promotion, but a legit one where you do awareness, when you discuss the challenges that the countries are having and try to solve them together.
Thank you, Piruza, and now we have a break. And
thank you.
A new bag.